Hello friends, today we'll discuss about discrete input devices. These are the contents of this lecture. Learning object. Okay, so in this lecture you will learn what is a sensor, what are the different types of sensor, then different input devices or the discrete input devices, how they are represented, the symbol, what is a construction and how these input devices operate or they work. So we'll start with what is a sensor. So one type of feedback frequently needed by the industrial control system is the position of one or more component of the operation being controlled. Sensors are devices used to provide the information on the presence or absence of an object. So in the industry, so on the conveyor, how many objects they are passed. Okay, so to measure the number of objects or number of components, to sense the proper position of bottle for filling the liquid into the bottle, or the travel of say drill head, how much drilling is done, okay, or to sense the home position or to sense the end position, okay. So we are providing the limits for the travel, okay. So for sensing the position, okay, of the component, these devices or these sensors they are used, okay, and they will send the information to the devices or to the controller. So generally when a PLC is designed into the machine control system, so it is not simply put into an open loop system, okay. So PLC is used for the automation purpose, okay, and if we press the button, push button, okay, so it will, according to the input received by the PLC, so it will execute the algorithm or it will execute the ladder diagram, and accordingly the output of the PLC are turn on or turn off, okay. So it will give the command to the output devices, okay, but it is not look whether the contactor is energized or not, okay, whether output is high or low, okay. So it is not looked by the PLC. So instead of that, so PLCs are generally put into a closed loop. Means when we press the push button, so whether the motor is start operating or not, okay, so that is a sense by the sensor mounted on the shaft, okay, so that it will give the feedback. Now this is a system in which the PLC monitors the performance of the machine and provide the appropriate output at the correct time to make the machine operate properly, efficiently and intelligently. Okay. Now in this case, we take the example of drill machine. So whether the drill head is at a home position or at the top, okay, so that is sensed by the limit switch. Then after that we have to travel some distance in the rapid way to minimize the time of operation. So we put the another limit switch, okay. So from home position to this it will move rapidly, okay, and when it comes to the near the job, okay, so after that it is start slowly moving slowly, okay, so that after some distance, so it will start drilling into the job or into the metal piece, okay, and based on the distance sense, final distance sense, how much deep you have to drill into the job, okay. Next, third limit switch is put there to sense the final position of that drill head, okay. So when this position is sensed by this limit switch, okay, so it will stop the movement of the drill head, okay, and when this limit switch is operated, so it will stop the movement, and so the hydraulic cylinder will move in the upward direction, okay, and it will sense by the home position, okay. So in this way the flow of hydraulic fluid into the hydraulic cylinder is sensed by these three limit switches, okay, and this signal is given to the PLC, and based on that PLC operate, or it will control the flow through this solenoid valve, okay. So this is the operation, and this is a sense by the devices. They are called as a sensor, okay. Now in this case the limit switch is a sensor, okay. It is a continuously giving the position of this drill head, and accordingly the PLC is controlling the flow, okay. It is controlling the operation of the solenoid valve. The classification of sensors, they are classified as a discrete and proportional. Discrete and proportional. These are the two sensors. Based on the output of this sensor, they are classified as discrete or proportional. Okay. So it is a discrete. It is also called as a digital, logic, or bandwidth. And proportional is also called as a analog or continuous. Okay. So it is a discrete. There are two positions of the discrete output as a 0 and 1, low or high, off or on. Okay. So these are the two positions. So for that we will see the example of thermostat. Okay. So thermostat is used in the room heaters or water geysers or in the refrigerator. Okay. So this thermostat is a turn on or turn off the water heater. It turn on and turn off the water heater. Okay. So when the temperature is reach to its set value, so it turn off the supply for the water heater. Okay. So when you use the water, so the temperature of water decreases, so it will change the decreased temperature and it will turn on the water heater. Okay. So in this way there are only two positions, on and off. Okay. So it is important to remember that discrete sensors do not provide the information about the current value. Okay. And between this minimum and maximum value of the water temperature, okay, which is set on the thermostat. So between these two values, so we cannot measure or we cannot get the temperature of the water. Okay. So for that we require the thermocouple, so which will continuously monitor or which will continuously give the temperature of water between these two minimum and maximum values. Okay. So proportional sensors on the other hand provide an analog output. Okay. Now thermocouple is the example of proportional sensor. Okay. So it is a continuously giving you the value of the water temperature. Okay. The output may be a voltage, current, resistor, or even a digital word containing a discrete value. Okay. So output of these proportional sensors may be a voltage, current, resistance, or after converting this continuous signal into the discrete one, so we can get in terms of discrete 0 and 1 in a word, okay, 8-bit word or 16-bit word. So in any case, the sensor measure the value of the parameter, convert it into a signal that is proportional to the value and outputs that value. Now we see the discrete or on-off input devices. Okay, so what are the different input devices? Okay, first is a contactor, primary control. Okay, so contactor is a on-off type device. Okay, so basically this contactor controls the three-phase power or single phase power, okay, means 230 or 415 volt, okay, for motor on off in case of domestic pump, motor on off in case of industrial 3-phase pump, okay. So this is called as a primary control, okay. So it will control the power circuit, and to operate this contactor, so there are some control devices, okay. These are push button, timer, indicating lamps, limit switches, pressure switches, float switches, thermostat, relay, and master control, okay. So both these primary control contactor or these control devices, they are having two positions, either on or off, okay. So they are called as a discrete input devices, and these discrete input devices, they give the input to the PLC, okay. There are two types of these switches, or now we discuss about the control input devices, control discrete devices, okay. So there are two types. One is called as a maintain type and momentary type, okay. Maintain type means in our domestic switch, okay. So when we press this switch, okay, so it is maintain its position, and for that position, so your lamp is on, your fan is on. When you press this switch to turn off the lamp, again it will maintain its state in the off condition, okay. Another one is a momentary type, okay. Momentary type, the example is doorbell push button, okay. So when you press the button, only for that moment your button, bell push button is on and bell is starting. When you remove the finger, so it returns to its original position, okay. So in this way, maintain type and momentary type, these are the two types of these switches or push buttons, okay. So in the industry, mostly this momentary type switches are used, okay. Now we'll see maintain type, okay, or what are the different switches, okay. Tact switch and dome switches, push button and toggle switches, power rocker switches, slide switches, rotary switches, key lock switches, limit switches, pressure switches, float level switches, okay. So these are the various switches or buttons they are used in the industry for the different applications. Now here the selector switch is used. Again, this selector switch is available in maintain type or momentary type, okay. In the selector switches, there are different position, okay, on off, or say center off, and say two-way position for hand and auto operation. For two position, so there are two contacts are there, okay. Two poles are there and one throw is there, okay. So based on this operation, when we press this button on auto side, so this A contact is get closed. When it is at center, so it is at center of position, okay. A and B, they are open, and when we put this switch on the hand side, so this B contact is, okay. So this is a selector switch, it is available in maintain and momentary type. Then push buttons are available in the momentary type, okay. So there is a supply, then these two elements, they are shorted, one is normally closed, so lamp is on, okay. When we press this button, so this red button, red lamp is turned off, okay, because this supply at this contacts, it is disconnected. and the contact at the second terminal, they are connected or maintained, and the power is flow from L1 to the second set of contact to green. Okay. So these are the different types of switches. Okay. Now we'll see the construction of switch. Okay. In the switch, there are poles and throws. Okay. So these fixed contacts, they are called as a poles. Okay. These fixed contacts, they are called as a pole. And a throw, this center position, this contact or this slanted line, they are called as a throw. Okay. So it is a function of this switch to open and close the circuit. Okay. To open and close the circuit. Okay. To maintain the supply or to disconnect the supply. Okay. To maintain the supply or to disconnect the supply. Okay. Disconnect means open. Close means we are providing the supply to the load or lamp. Okay. So this switch or push button, it is a control device. So it will control the power. Okay. So this switch or push button does not consume any power. Okay. They will not consume any power. Now we'll see the different types of switches. Okay. Single pole, double pole. Okay. Means in case of AC supply, whether we are controlling only phase or we are controlling phase and neutral. Okay. So based on that, they are called as a single pole or double. In case of DC, whether we are controlling only positive or positive and negative. Okay. So based on that, they are classified as a single pole and double. Okay. Then next, based on the throw. Okay. Based on the throw, double throw. Okay. And double break. Break means at this switch will break the circuit at how many positions? Okay. Double break. So when this throw is moved, so it will break the circuit at this pole, it will break the circuit at this pole. Okay. So it will break circuit at two different locations. So it is called as a double break. Double break. Okay. Now in this case, the circuit is break only at this point. So it is called as a single break. Okay. Then double throw. Double throw means there are two set of poles, one and second. Okay. So at this, it is a normally closed. Okay. Or the poles are in a closed position. Second set of pole is in an open position. Okay. So when we press this throw, okay, so it is moved from this first set to the second set. It is moved from first set to the second set. Okay. So it is called as a double throw. It is called as a double throw. Okay. This is single throw. Okay. Only one operation, make and break. Okay. Here single throw, only one set of pole is there. Okay. So it will close or open. Okay. Again here double throw. There are two sets of pole. Okay. Normally closed. When we press or we press this throw to the another, so it becomes normally closed becomes open and normally open becomes closed. Okay. So in this way, based on the supply system, they are classified as single pole, double pole. Okay. Based on the number of set of poles, they are called as a double throw or single throw, and how many breaks are there in the switches, they are called as a double break or single break. Okay. So this is the classification of switches or push buttons. Now we'll see the construction of push button. Okay. So generally these push buttons, they are mounted on a panel or on the control desk or on the push button station. Okay. So they are manufactured by sheet metal having thickness 1 mm, 2 mm or 3 mm based on the overall size. Okay. So these push buttons, it is mounted on this plate. So it is called as this is shown here, mounting panel. Then mounting section. So from the front side, okay, so this screw is removed, and from the front side it is put into the panel, and from the back side this check nut is mounted on the push button. Okay, so this is a mounting section and used to secure the body of the switch to the mounting panel. Okay, then this is a front surface. Okay, so push button transmit external force or movement to the switch. Okay, so this is called as a actuator. When we press this red portion, okay, so it will move inside. Okay, so this portion will move inside and it will operate this switch. It will operate this switch. Okay, so by using this spring, okay, so when we apply the force, the switch, this switch is get operated by using the force. Now based on say your application, there are normally open contacts, there are normally closed contacts. Okay, now these push buttons are momentarily, so when we remove the finger, so because of this spring force it comes to its normal position. Okay, these push buttons, they are having two types, illuminated or non-illuminated. Okay, so for illumination purpose, this bulb arrangement is there. Okay, so for mounting of this bulb, the arrangement is there, and to give this mechanical protection, okay, so this case is there. Okay, so which will protect the internal mechanism or internal components of this switch. Okay, again on this push button, so one metallic ring is provided. Okay, as a mechanical protection for this push button. Otherwise, by say your hand, okay, so it is get operated. Okay, so to avoid the malfunctioning or mal-operation, so metallic ring is provided. Okay, so this is the construction of push button. Okay. So these are the different types of push button. Okay, so this is the metallic ring. Okay, then this yellow portion and this portion, this is called as a actuator. This black one is called as a element. So here there are normally open or normally closed contacts of are provided, and to connect in the electrical circuit, the terminals are provided in this element. Okay, so there are two parts, actuator and element. So this is a flush type, this is a mushroom type momentarily operated, this is a mushroom type lock push button. Okay, so when you press this button, so it is get locked. Okay, so it cannot return by using the spring force, and you have to bring this to the normal position. You have to move this red portion in the direction of arrow. Okay, this is extended type push button. Again, this is a illuminated. Illuminated push buttons are there. Then this is a combined start stop push button. This is a non-illuminated, and the key type push buttons are also available. They are available in the rectangular shape, circular shape, illuminated, non-illuminated. Okay, so these are the various types of push buttons available in the market. Okay, so based on your application, you can select illuminated, non-illuminated. Okay, mushroom type, extended type. Okay. So push button normally open, PBNO. Okay, so generally this normally open is shown by this symbol. Okay, so these are the two pole and this is a throw. Okay, and for normally open push button, the horizontal line is placed on one side of the pole, and on the same side the vertical line is provided. Okay, means you are applying the force on this push button from this side, from this vertical line side, so that they will move in the downward direction and these normally open contacts become closed. Normally open contacts become closed and the circuit is completed through this push button. Okay, through this push button. Okay, so when you remove the finger, because of the spring force, these closed contacts becomes open or normally open. Okay. So this is normally open, and generally these are used for the start push button to start the motor. Okay, so green color is used for normally open contact. Okay, second one is a push button normally closed, PBNC. Okay, so this is the close. Okay, means circuit is completed. Okay, and when you have to disconnect the circuit, okay, so this vertical line is placed from the force side. Okay, so when you apply the force from this vertical line, so this normally closed contacts get open and the circuit is disconnected. Okay, so generally these are used for the disconnect the circuit or stop the motor operation. Okay, so normally closed and normally open. So these are the two main contacts used in the discrete input devices. Okay. Now we'll start with the limit switches. Okay. So again, in these limit switches, these normally open or normally closed contacts they are provided. Okay, and these limit switches they will sense the position of travel. They will sense the position of object. Okay, so for that purpose, these limit switches are used. Okay, so by changing this position of these limit switches, okay, so we can limit the travel. Okay, or by putting these limit switches on the conveyor. So by using this say rod type limit switches, we can count the number of objects. Okay, so this is the limit switch. Okay, so what is a function of this limit switch? It detects the presence or absence of the object or the part, machine part. Okay, so it will detect the range of movement. Okay, so in case of say a shearing machine, you have to control the stroke. Okay, so you can change the limit switch position. Okay, so it will detect the range of movement. Okay, so detecting the position and travel of the limit switch. Okay, travel of the limit. Okay, so in case of drill machine, okay, so it will sense the home position, it will sense the end position. Okay, then in case of hydraulic press, again it will sense the home position, it will sense the final travel position. Okay, it will sense how much distance this ram has to move in the fast position. Okay, so for that purpose these limit switches are used. Okay, slow down, stop the drive, reverse the drive position. Okay, so in case of lathe machine, okay, so when it will move in the forward direction, okay, so it is by using say hydraulic cylinder or by using say forward feed motor. Okay, so it is start moving in the forward direction. Okay, so when the cut is end, that is a sense by this limit switch, so it will give the signal so that the motor will move in the reverse direction, or the solenoid valve reverse, the flow through the solenoid will change its direction and the cylinder is moved to its home position. Okay, so for that purpose these limit switches are used, provide the control impulses, and as I said on the conveyor how many parts, machine parts or components they are manufactured. Okay, so that is a sense by the limit switch. So in that case it will give the pulse, okay, for the counter. Breaking a live circuit when unsafe conditions are arise. Okay, unsafe conditions means to sense the final travel, this limit switch is placed. Okay, and another one more for the safety of this machine. Next limit switch is provided. Okay, means say if the contactor is not disconnect the supply for this motor and it is continuously moving in the downward direction. Okay, again that position is sensed by the another limit switch and it will give the signal to the main contactor so that the overall supply for this machine is disconnect. Okay, so that it will stop the operation. Okay, so for the unsafe condition is also sensed by the limit switch. So limit switch is a very common industrial control device. Okay, so limit switches are designed to operate only when a predetermined limit is reached. Okay, so they are usually actuated by the contact with an object such as a cam, roller or lever. Okay, means when the limit switch is operated by these devices, then it will change its position, contact position. Okay, the cam can be rotated at a constant rate and so switch the on off for a particular time interval. They are often used in a control circuit of machine processes to govern the starting, stopping or reversal of the motors or solenoid valves. Okay, so this is the limit switch. Now here the limit switches are shown in the motor control operation, say forward and reverse operation. Okay, so you consider an example of hoist, electric crane, so which will move in upward and downward direction. Okay, so for that one limit switch is provided for the downward position and one limit switch is provided for the upward position. Okay, so when your hook will move in the upward direction, okay, so that is a sensed by the limit switch. Okay, so it will give the stop command. Okay, so it will not move beyond this limit. Okay, similarly for the lower position the limit switches are provided. Okay, so as discussed, so this is a limit switch which will sense the home position of this drilling head. Okay, so which will sense the home position. Okay, means when you start the drilling operation. Okay, so from this home position, so it will start moving in the downward direction. Okay, so there is a lead screw. Okay, so when the downward drilling is finished, okay, so that limit switch give the command to the motor which is moving this lead screw. Okay, so this motor will start in the reverse direction and this tool head will move in the upward direction. Okay, it will move in the upward direction. When this limit switch get operated by this portion, so it will turn off supply for the motor. Okay, so when the motor is rotating in the reverse direction, that is turn off. Okay, so in this way this limit switches they are used in the electrical circuit. Okay, now this is the micro switch which will change the travel on this slide. Okay, so these are the limit switches. Now we'll see the construction of limit switch. Okay, so in this limit switch, so this is a actuator. This will move in this direction, forward and reverse direction, depending on the operation or the by the cam or by the lever or by the striker. So it will move. The actuator is a part of the switch. External force imposed on the actuator. Okay. So based on that, it will move and it will transfer this movement on the switch or on the element. Okay, on the element. Then there is a head. Okay, there is a head. So this linear position is moved or it is transferred in the through this head in the 90 degree to operate the element, to operate the normally open or normally closed contact. Okay, so this is a head. Okay, so depending on the mounting position, okay, so you can change the position of this head. Okay, so this actuator is on this side or you have to shift on the opposite side. So by unscrewing from this head side, you can change the position of this actuator. Okay, then this is a total switch casing. Okay, so this casing will provide the mechanical protection for this element. Okay, this is built-in switch or called as a element. Okay, conduit opening. So to connect the wire to this normally open, normally closed contact. Okay, for that the wire opening is provided. Here we can use the PVC conduit, we can use it here, cable gland is provided. This is the cover. So by removing this cover, we can connect this wire. We can connect this wire, or if the wire is break, okay, or you have to say connect or disconnect the wire. So by removing this cover, we can use the connections. So total overall, this limit switch or this cover or this head, so rubber gaskets are provided. Rubber gaskets are provided. Okay, so to enter the liquid or to enter the coolant or to enter the avoid the entering of this fluid inside the switch and to avoid the short circuit in this element. Okay, so total assembly is provided with the rubber gasket. Okay, so this is the construction of limit switch: actuator, head, switch casing, built-in switch, conduit opening, terminal, covers. Okay. Now how this limit switch is operated? So it is operated by cam, levers, push rod or dogs. Okay. So this is a cam. Okay. This is a cam. So this limit switch is fixed and this cam, by using say moving part, okay, so it will operate this actuator. It will operate this actuator. Okay, and based on this operation of this actuator, the movement is a transfer through head to the element or to the switch, so that the contacts they are get open or close, they are make or break. Okay. So this is a cam or lever or dogs. Okay, these are the cams, may be vertical or say cylindrical. Okay. So these are the various actuators. They will operate the limit switches. Now we will see how these limit switches they are represented, symbol of the limit switch. Okay. So in the North American style, they are represented by the slanted line and a black triangle. Okay. 1, 2. This is a normally open. This is a normally close contact position. Okay. So this triangle is placed on a side in such a way that, so it will indicate the operating force. It will indicate the operating force. Okay. Now see, this is a slanted line and triangle is placed on the below the line. This is a say horizontal line and triangle is placed on the below this line. Okay, so your limit switches get operating from this side, okay, from the downward side. So when this actuator is get operated, so this will move in the upward direction, so that these 3-4 contacts, they are disconnected or normally closed becomes open, and this will move in the upward direction. This normally open contact become closed. Okay, so in this way we represent the symbol. Okay, so this is a single pole double throw. Double pole double throw means there are two sets of contacts. Okay, so here you can use for the double pole, okay, to control phase and neutral, or you can use this for controlling of two different circuits. Okay, now by using the international style, okay, so they are used by only a slanted line. Okay, there are two sets of contact, normally open, normally closed. So dotted lines are placed between these normally closed and normally open contact. Okay, so in normally closed contact, slightly horizontal line is placed. Okay, and this slanted line, this is normally open, normally closed. Now in this case, this dot or this circle will indicate the operating force. Okay, so it will operate from this side. Okay, means normally open becomes closed and normally closed becomes open. If these contacts get closed, these closed contacts get open. Okay, again similarly double pole, one set, another set, and double throw. So these are the symbols used in the electrical schematic diagram to show the limit switches in the electrical circuit. Okay. Now how this actuator will transfer the force on the element. Okay, so or how these contacts, they will get change their position. So 1, 2, these are fixed pole, 3, 4, these are fixed pole. Okay, and this is the moving strip, or this is a throw. Okay, and on this throw again this is a conducting plate is there. Okay, this is a spring. Okay, so based on this operation, okay, based on this operation, this spring will change its position. Okay, change its position, and so these are the momentarily operated. So for that purpose the spring is there. Okay. So this is a unactuated state. Okay, a normal operation of this switch. Okay, so during normal operation 1 and 2, these are normally open contact, the circuit is disconnected or circuit is open, and at the 3 and 4 pole the circuit is closed. Okay, means the supply is passed through this 3 and 4 and supply is disconnected at 1 and 2. Okay, so this is double break and double through. Now at this second position, so limit switch actuator is operated by the cam or by the lever. Okay, and it starts pressing the lever of this limit switch. Okay, so this is a intermediate position. So this actuator will move and the spring is a straight. Okay, and there is a further operation of the actuator, so it will move to its final position. Okay, and because of this spring action, okay, so these contacts, they will move in the upward direction. And during this operation, this normally closed circuit at 3 and 4, it is get open. Okay, so normally closed becomes open, and this normally open at 1 and 2, it is get closed. It is get closed. Okay. So in this way, there is a operation of this element, or there is a operation of the limit switch. Okay. So when the force is removed from the actuator, okay, so because of this spring action, okay, so it will move in the upward direction. So it will move this lever in the upward direction, and it will come to its unactuated state. Okay. So in this way, this is the snap action in the limit switch. It is a momentarily operated when the force on the actuator is removed. So these contacts, operator contacts, they will come to its original position, to come to its normal position. Okay. Two circuits. So at this normally closed and normally open contact, so we can use two different circuits. Okay. So this is the contact element, snapper. Okay. And this is a plunger. Okay. This is a actuator. Okay. There are four circuits, means 2 NO, 2 NC contact. Okay. So when you have to purchase the limit switch, so you have to mention the number of contacts, whether you required 1 NO, 1 NC, or whether you required 2 NO, 2 NC contacts. Okay. Then the current rating for this limit switch, or for say push button, the current rating is say 2 ampere, 4 ampere. Okay. So these are the standard current rating, because these devices, they are used in the control circuit. Okay. So in this way, so we learn the push button and limit switch. There are two positions, on and off, normally closed, normally open. Okay. So they are discrete or on-off input devices. Okay. Now from this lecture, you can able to classify the input devices, means discrete type, or proportional type, or discrete type, analog type. Okay. And you can explain the different types of switches and push buttons. Okay. So based on their construction, their operation. Okay. So you can able to identify the different types of push button or switches. Okay. So you can able to describe the working of limit switch. Okay. So these are the outcomes. Okay. In the next lecture, we will see the operation of construction and operation of pressure switch, float switch, level switch. Okay. Thank you for your patience listening. Thank you very much.